see picked or banned in game number 1 is the Rumble. Looks like LNG not going to go towards it, but kind of surprising, right? In some other series, that has been such a high priority pick, but not showing its head just yet.
I was thinking it was going to be a Sejuani ban. I didn't see it, and I was like, okay, maybe I won't miss it, but they actually don't go for it. It's the Maokai trying to be coming through for LNG, and a lot of that presence around objectives for Tarzan.
And the question to me is what they're going to pair up with in mid, right? Because usually it is one of those like AD soul laner options. We get one of our answers now with the Azir. So setting up more to be able to have those team fights there, having a lot more zone control come out from both the Maokai Ultimate and the Emperor's Divide. You already said just like the objective setup and being able to light up the area with your saplings and then play off the range of the Sand Shoulders can do so much for LNG if they're able to take control over in an area.
And it is also something that Scout knows all too well. The Emperor himself, right, almost has 100 games on the pick, 30 about over the next highest for him. So something very strong and something he's opted into just in their last series. I do like the Rell here, still very flexible, but I wonder if this time around it will actually be the Kanavi Rell.
We'll see, especially if they end up going for the Xayah. I think it would be quite likely. Man, we've seen so many wacky picks in playoffs so far that, like, I mean, hell, Tarzan can still bring out the Skarner at any point, right? We're not going to have it this game, theoretically. I guess you can put the Maokai down in support, so I guess we can't completely take it off the table. Don't do this,
don't go to the dark side.
Point is, it's there, right? You never know what you're going to get now. For LNG are just going to get Gala on the Varus. So now having a lot of range of their own to be able to play off of, forcing JDG to come into them. And now we're going to see where they do decide to ban out. I think top lane would be the safest option just from the fact that Rell and Tristana, Rell is still a flex, right? Can go jungle or support. But it looks like they're fine if Kanavi decides to take into the jungle role, and they still just don't want to deal with some of these other Kanavi pocket picks.
Something I always love about Kanavi is, yes, he will facilitate you. He'll get you all the gold ever. But if you turn to making him a carry, if you give him some priority, we've seen him do some incredible things in his tenure for JDG. So we're going to see what this flexibility does belie for JDG. They do ban away the Gnar here, as the top lane matchup will be an important one, especially when we saw, that Gwen be a pretty saving grace for LNG and for Zika. We actually get that Lilia ban yet again, and the Sejuani by LNG banned away.
Yeah, now maybe even look towards like an early another support ban instead of a top lane one, because I would say you can ban out the K'Sante here, but as JDG, you're probably fine with picking up Gwen into K'Sante yourself since you have double AD damage in your other lanes as well. So having that counter pick available means K'Sante doesn't need to be banned, and then there aren't like a whole ton of other AD top laners that you can really imagine Zika picking up. So I like it. You ban out the Alistar instead. You say, hey, any physical damage option you have in top lane, we have an answer for.
You got to try to find any answer you can, especially. I like that Alistar ban, actually, towards Hung. Just trying to get away some of that big engage potential, but also the beefiness. Excuse the pun. We get the Nautilus, though, locked in yet again for LNG.
Yeah, so they go towards what is just, kind of, again, generic engage support option. Now here, I think, is the interesting thing for JDG. Like, do you just lock in Gwen here and kind of expect a potential K'Sante pick to come out and not really care what LNG would opt into answering with it? Or do they go towards more of a 369 standard of like an Ornn or a Scion and just give him tank duty to survive under turret? It looks like that is going to be the play rather than dipping their toes into it. There we go.
Vanguard Forest, let's go!
Yep, Ivern coming out with the double marksman, so Knight gonna need to step up this time compared to game 1. Ruler was already delivering on all cylinders, so hell, even just having the enhancements coming out from the Ornn and for the Ivern, I think is gonna do a lot to push JDG in the right direction.
I love that you had been highlighting 369's growth as a tank player. Then we get this tank play in game 2, but we got the gauntlet from Zika, the Fiora locked in, so side lane pressure abound for LNG now.
Has played it 15 times in his career. Is 8-7 on the pick, so again, like decent showing in the LPL when you're going up against so many absolute monsters. And now it's going to set up for a really nice, 1-4 style of composition. You have such great wave clear in the rest of your comp. Like Azir Varus will be able to hold the line. to allow for Fiora to do what she does best. So I'm curious if LNG can start getting their hands on some early dragons, which will give the Fiora more time in the side lane, since then you aren't on a timer for Soul yourself.
With the Azir here and a lot of the strength that LNG are bringing to the table, we got game number 2 hot and fresh for you. It's JDG versus LNG.
I am shocked. I am shocked that the LNG fans are matching the JDG fans in volume and vigor. Not to say that these players, right, Scout, Gala, Tarzan, don't have fans, Hung, Zika, the LNG organization. But again, just with how star-studded JDG is, you would assume that no one would be able to match. But I guess the LNG fans riding high off of that Game 1 victory.
And this is a team that doesn't have a good track record against JDG. This is also a team that didn't have success last split in the spring playoffs. They are knowingly very stressed about this whole situation. They're making that run. We heard it from Scout early on coming into this game number 2, how they do have a lot of confidence in themselves, but it's about executing and no matter what opponent it is, stepping up to their plate.
Look, we can't blame them for what happened in spring. They just sadly got OMG'd. Sometimes you get OMG'd. Sometimes OMGs themselves, as we've seen recently. So
say that 10 times fast.
It's kind of like a natural disaster that just happens to you, which again, that's why everyone loves OMG, because of those types of things that can happen. But in this game, Knight already starting off with some of the explosive action that we want to see, right? Because like I said, for JDG, it's around mid-jungle where you really want to see them deliver. For LNG, this time around, it's going to be the 2v2. I love that Gala and Hung already stepping forward and trying to take advantage of their strong early level.
I think Gala on the Varus can be so good because you get all that utility of the Chains of Corruption, but you also just have so much packing of punch in these long-range team fights. Some things that LNG are really going to be opting into. This 369 going to have a lot of trouble early on, it seems, with the Fiora matchup in the top side.
Yeah, this one's not going to be fun. I remember back in the day, like when Ornn first came out, it was so good for the Ornn, but like every matchup used to be so good for the Ornn. If anyone remembers Release Sword,
copy pasta lyric, I don't think there's any more explanation needed.
Exactly. Release Sword can pretty much go toe-to-toe with anything. It's been a long time since then. And now 369, we'll even see how familiar he is with the matchup. But 369 isn't new to just having to sit in a turret. Zika. Oh, God. I thought he was going to find it there. 369, my God, nerves of steel to be able to hold on to that flash.
I'd say that's about a 6. We're holding nerves of steel. Tarzan going to make his face shown or his tree bark shown in the mid lane. Not going to find anything there, but the engage actually from Hung under tower. A nice crash down there. Actually going to go wide and missing, taking the brunt of Gala's ire.
You hit it. I mean, it goes wide, just allows for all the damage to be traded back. Gala being level 3, having those abilities online to be able to throw a piercing arrow and get the E there too. Hung able to add a little bit more, but I like that we're already seeing LNG kind of abuse what they drafted for, right? Drafting for strong top and bot, already finding these early CS leads. But I think that's putting pressure on Knight to be more aggressive, for him to try to right the ship and give an area where JDG are winning out, but no Ruler. They don't really have much of a wave.
Yeah, I was going to say, it gets a little bit difficult, and that Blade Caller will be available for Ruler. He is also on his skin, by the way, Mr. Lyric. We have that adaptation. Nice little signature there on the Rift, but also something where Ruler has said in the past that he wants to try to pick it up. He wants to try to show up. He's going to grab that skin. And now we got to see if he can actually do it, right? You have a lot of safety. I was talking in game 1 so much about how many times I've seen Ruler be the target of teams and just take all of the pressure. It has been a lot of times on this Xayah.
It has. And like you said, stating that this is something he brings out when it's an important match and he needs to step up and deliver. So we're going to see here if he is able to do it. Can be a little bit awkward playing later on. Like, you getting outranged by things like the Azir and the Varus can just make it a little bit annoying, right? And trying to find an impact. So we're going to see if Ruler can put up the same level of performance when I would say it's a little bit trickier compositionally to do that. Is Zika. I try to run 369 down again.
369's in some trouble here. Oh, he got the sweet spot there, the vital at least. 369 going to heal up decent amount though with that regen. And the pot popped, but Dragon coming up on the other side. And I know we were talking in draft. This is something where some early stacking can benefit LNG particularly.
Yeah, it goes both ways, right? Because it just benefits them in different ways. For LNG, if they can start stacking early Drakes, I might need to pause. Hung, get stunned.
Ooh, that's just some trouble here, as that's a lot of damage coming down. We've seen the sneakiness that an Ivern presents. Knight gonna rocket jump over. Now that duality of the bushes gonna help Tarzan get some damage back.
I still feel like it's tense with Tarzan here. But, right, I mean, of course, everyone wants early dragons. But for LNG, they want it to take away any timer JDG can put on them. If they don't have to worry about fighting a soul at like 25, 30 minutes into a game, it's going to give Zika a lot more 1v1 time against the Ornn in the side lane. And Bet should be able to take down like a tier 2 turret in a 1v1, maybe pressure an inhibitor turret. But that's also exactly why JDG would love to get them early, right? If you can put this Fiora on a timer where she has to TP into a team fight, and Fiora can have some team fight impact, but not as much as obviously other champions, that would be ideal for JDG, who just want those outright 5v5s.
Especially comparatively to a champion like an Ornn, who can get an incredible engage. I do want to take a look back at Dragon, though, because we have some tussling afoot. It will be Scout out of mid lane first. Level 6 is abound there. We do have the Emperor's Divide. The flash has already been burned from Knight. He has no way out of this one. The Bramble Smash brings back, though. Can they get the damage? Scout doesn't have anything. Knight might get the reset of the rocket jump here as well. Tarzan in some trouble. He goes for it. Knight trying to get the kill. Who's going to be first blood? It's going to go to Tarzan. And LNG find the chaos. They find the fight, and Scout gets flashed on by Kanavi. So JDG, not one to be left out in the dark, find the 1-for-1.
LNG were even still walking forward aggressively, which made me a little bit scared about what they wanted to go for. But good. 1-for-1. We're not having any crazy early game BS like we did last time around, where so much is given over so early on to the side of LNG. And it's going to be here, where they try to all in on Scout. Actually used the Buster shot there, but didn't really affect Scout whatsoever. And actually, I think put Scout further away like he wanted, just keep outputting DPS from a range. And this is where it looked like Tarzan was going to go down, but there it is, the sapling into the queue, and they're just able to whittle him down once the W comes out. Kind of funny to see a 1v1 between a Maokai and a Tristana, but luckily, Kanavi able to return the damage with Missing and Ruler really outputting some of that DPS. I believe Missing there even using his Ignite. So, yeah, both mid laners going down and both trees picking it up.
That's what I was going to say. The forest has come alive. They get the kills early. The blood seeps into the roots. I don't know. We could go really dark down an alley that way. I don't think we want to take that. We'll go forward into the dragon potential here, as I do want to look at resets coming back out. We have a lot of presence that can be available towards this Rift Herald. Maybe a bit of that trade action coming out here from both sides.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, right? Because for LNG, if Zika wanted to try and force more aggressive trades once this wave comes into his turret, like he can guarantee himself priority, you get that wave in, and then LNG, you try to play off that one. But instead, I like it. Going for the early dragon when we talked about this will buy them more 1v1 time for that Fiora and not get forced into an early fight. But this does open up for JDG to maybe start finding a bit of a gold advantage. Get the Herald down, try to break something open. Scout,
into the turret. Knight still takes the extra tower shot there as well, and he's been getting a little brutalized in the mid lane. Both of them sitting at 0-1, but he will be able to join over here, make this quicker, at least on the back, and try to get back to the mid lane. That dragon does go over, and there's that 1-for-1 trade.
So now it's going to be a lot about what JDG can do with this. Like, how can they accelerate a gold lead on one of their carries?
He has the Grand Challenge available. Will use the riposte on the crash down. Needs to try to get onto Ruler here. The Blade Caller going to be dashed out on it. Zika just wants to get the kill, but we've seen this time and time again, and he knows all too well. He'll back off.
That was so beautiful. He sidesteps the Q coming out from Missing. He riposts the stun. He dodges out on the Blade Caller, like everything. He was dodging everything. And had Kanavi not walked up, I think he would have gotten one of Ruler's summoners.
Oh, I mean, he might have even got the kill at that point. I mean, Ruler had a ton of available escape mechanisms.
Exactly. I think a kill would have been over-ambitious, but who knows? Maybe with a Ruler misstep, yeah. And even getting any summoner in a 1v2 would have been absurd.
I do want to see, though, now Kanavi back on the mid, actually being a little bit aggressive with his pathing. He does have this Rift Herald. While it does have a long time until it's going to get the reset, I want to see them actually give Knight some more of these resources, or give Ruler these resources, and it's about delivering those to the right direction.
I think I'd like them more to go on Knight, because like we said, Ruler, I think the play pattern could be a little bit awkward, to where at least Knight has that ability to jump in aggressively, put himself in range of the Azir or the Varus, and try to like take them out if a coordinated engage comes through with like missing in 369. So that's where I'd like to see JDG put gold. But after the performance that Ruler had in game 1, it wouldn't surprise me if they're just like, hey, this guy knows what to do with cash money. Let's give it to him. He's the responsible one. He ain't gonna be browsing on Amazon or any other website buying nonsense he doesn't need.
Not like us, right? Not like us.
No.
Be more like Ruler. Be the ruler that you believe yourself to be.
If you have responsibilities in life, do it. And don't just buy new games on, you know, anywhere. No new skins in League of Legends.
Ooh,
or maybe you should do that way.
Used. A little bit of space groove action coming out here, Zika. Does get out of that one. 369. Just kind of threaten him. Make it anxious here. But that ultimate will be burned for a while.
I realized, Mazel, here we are casting LPL. We got to shill. We got to shill for Riot. We can't tell people to be responsible. Spend your money on skins. It's 369. Actually,
Grand challenge popped here. Zika's playing pretty aggressively here. There's that proc, though, and he gets the heal back. Flash from 369, quickly followed up by Zika, the 1v1. It's going to go back to 369. He's feeling confident here, but no way to chase him down. He wants the angle, but everything is going the way of 369 to the top side now. Engage actually connects. Oh my god, that Magnet Storm, though, missing, tanking up a Storm. The Buster Shot's not enough, and Hung claims the kill.
And sadly, just not having enough in the tank damage-wise. Still really content with the 3v3 coming out from LNG. Magnet Storm not really able to be played around. Not a whole ton of AoE damage coming out either. Kanavi there to provide some shields, but that's it. But the tension in top lane,
it's scary.
Still exists.
Palpable. Cut it with a butter knife. You ever remember those cartoons where they'd like literally cut the fog with a butter knife? I think it's hilarious.
Yes.
That's it. You know, that's my representation anytime that happens. Zika gonna get a little bit of help though from Tarzan. Maybe a spotlight to clear some of the fog. 369 did just complete that Thornmail first item. Should get that reset from Zika though.
Yeah, luckily his jungler setting him up for success. Is a very calm game so far. I expected a much higher tempo series from JDG in playoffs. But so far slow and steady, gonna rely a lot on their strong team fighting. Again, at times, best team fighters in the world. I think inarguable. Waiting to see it here in this best of 5 is they are going to end up funneling gold into Knight. Like we said, I feel like, again, it fits their composition just better. Knight having more proactive options in terms of being able to lead the charge. But Zika more with this turret.
That's so crazy to me is like, Zika will be a very tough matchup in the side lane, I feel like, for a lot of JDG's team composition, right? JDG are a team comp. They want to actually stick together, try to fight around objectives, get the team fight going their way. They have a 6th man in Daisy. They're not going to have a 6th man if Knight goes down under turret here, but he's trying to trade back into Scout. Beautiful dodging of that turret aggro there, and Knight able to trade back with the mainstay of LNG. We got more skirmishing here. That Chains of Corruption's gonna lock down Missing. There's nothing he can do to get out. The crash down comes through. There's the Bramble smash back into the combo, and Hung gets himself another kill. Missing is still alive. You do lose Kanavi, but Missing gonna try to make it out alive here. Not able to get in range is Gala. It's gonna be a little bit of a chase down, but Zika engaged on the top side here as Ornn does come out yet again. Oh my goodness, does he get the execute? Oh my god, I think he gets the execute.
Yeah, he
got the execute.
I still gotta say, overall really good map play coming out from LNG, because I feel like one of the underrated parts of that play was the heavy trading coming out in mid lane from Scout, because Knight had just come back to lane. Scout still had his TP, so he reset. He could have TP'd, right into the fight, joined up, and been there for LNG to win it even harder. Luckily, didn't need to, just because of the amount of CC. So now LNG not only win the fight, they pick up a dragon.
Oh, the flash from Ruler. That killer instinct coming out of this guy. Tarzan able to get away because of the blue buff.
No vision in that brush. Ruler doesn't feel confident to keep running forward. But like I said, one important thing here, mini-map, Scout recalling. He has TP up. Great ult coming out from Tarzan to then allow for the follow-up engage from the rest of the squad.
Oh, we can't talk, though. Mid lane already bursted down, and they're going to find Scout, too. Knight's the one that gets the kill. That's a little bit of revenge from game number 1.
doing a nice job of using the pushing power of the Tristana. You'd already used the Rift Herald mid earlier on, so it was quite low. And now they can start pivoting up towards top side, put pressure on this Fiora, and then turn in for another Rift Herald.
It's a 4v1 up here. This isn't fair. Tarzan's going to come up as well as Hung. You do have a big presence from JDG. You have to be a little careful, though. They're just trying to get this turret, try to get the reset potentially out of that one, but JDG will back away after all.
Yeah, so still going to control the area. I'm keeping my eyes on mid where it looks like Gala had kind of first hit of the wave, so going to be able to force this one in and maybe allow for LNG to try to wrap their way around, but no. LNG still not feeling confident after they know JDG was in their jungle. Maybe thinking, hey, there could be some vision in here. We got to be a little bit safer in terms of walking out. Mazel, do you think they contest?
I actually think JDG are backing off this one. They do have Ruler coming from mid lane right now. Maybe something they could turn back around on, but LNG don't want to get this one. They've gotten their 2 dragons. We were talking about delaying that stacking, but if JDG had gotten another Rift Herald, that just means more gold, and especially a crash down on the bottom side. So LNG full force, they take it away.
So LNG not only got, those kills around, their blue buff, pick up dragon, now pick up a Rift Herald. It really is just crazy how much LNG are showing us in this series. Yeah. Being able to contend and honestly be on the front foot against JDG. Sure, JDG might have the gold lead, but it feels like LNG have been in control. Ghostblade pop.
Gala's going in. The engage there too, and he does so much damn damage. That's an easy pickup there. And LNG, they're running away now with a lot of these pickoffs.
And this is why Gala's always been held in high regard, despite never being like the most insane 2v2 laning AD carry. His proactivity, how he can play make, pops the Ghostblade, runs in is...
Oh, what? 369 gets pushed back. That might have been a 3 right there, Lyric. If I ever seen one rolled, Gala gets a second kill.
Like, I get the idea. Missing Seer and Rulers close by, but the timing of that play, way too early for the tools that LNG have available. So now LNG going to get a second turret. They still aren't building up a huge gold lead, but it is crazy. LNG putting our spring champions, putting our MSI champions on such a back foot. Mazel, at this rate,
making them sweat.
If they go 2-0 up, I will seriously be mind blown as we see 369 here. Look at the minimap. Xayah missing, making their way over. Doesn't
he tried
find the
to hit the edge.
Yeah, doesn't find the knock-up, sadly. Then gets pushed away. Tons of ultis coming out from the side of LNG, and the man just has nowhere to go.
It's a bit unfortunate there, the timing of it all, but about 1 minute and 30 seconds for our timer to get a 3rd dragon for LNG. They had already put a lot of that stacking potential in that neutral objective. Expect them to continue to pick up this fight, right? We've seen them actually bring it together pretty heavily against JDG. And JDG are still a team. They're waiting on items. They're a double marksman comp that needs to be out those 2-3 item spikes.
Right, you want to be waiting for Knight and Ruler to be strong. Hell, even 369 to be more tanky. Ornn items coming through. Like, there's a lot of things as JDG at this point in the game that you're waiting for. Navori now picked up by Knight, so one of those is going to be online. But a big question is going to be how LNG look to keep progressing this game forward. Because now we're nowhere close to LNG having to worry about, let's say, like a soul for the side of JDG, so Zika is going to be able to keep just demolishing in that side lane, and at the same time, LNG is going to be able to put up pressure on the opposite side of the map that 369 is going to have to answer. So we're going to see how this stance goes around things like teleports from top laners. If LNG can force a 369 TP out, and then, go back, do the dance again.
What kind of dance are we talking about here? Is it like a flamenco? Is it like a 2-step? Are we doing like slow? Are we going fast?
I think if it was like my kind of dance, we're going to go for a wall of death. A wall of death at a great metal show, which I don't know if it's a dance, but I want it to be those. But for you, we're going to go with the good old square dance, Mazel.
The square dance? I'd rather a bit of a half step myself. I want some pace. I want some fighting. And I want to see Zika not go too heavy down in this turret and top side of the map. He's getting traded pretty heavy, but he will be that pressure we'd set up from the beginning. JDG will take advantage of LNG's lack of presence, and will take their dragon.
Just allowing for them to keep hammering on this top lane, and also trying to see if they can find any chunk damage on the mid lane turret. They weren't able to do so because JDG, even though we said they're waiting, right, getting Ruler and Knight to 2-3 and Marcus Knight.
Okay, I like it.
That's what I want. That's exactly what we want.
Tarzan gonna get caught there, but did end up getting that blue buff. That is the kind of stuff you need from Knight, though. That was our big focus coming into this. Knight versus Scout. We've got such incredible accolades for both of them, but they are also both so crucial to their teams. And Knight's addition to JDG has been nothing but incredible. And I think there was a reason why they scoped him out, stole him away, because it has been that come up of the golden left hand, but not only a lot of that flexibility in the mid lane.
Yeah, he really has been just so crucial. I mean, hell, again, first all-pro team. He got voted it for a reason, even if he should be second, because Scout's MVP, so Scout shouldn't be second, he should be first.
You just had to go there.
I'm not,
You just had to
not
put
gonna let
that
it
in
go.
there, huh?
I'm not gonna let it go,
You're
man.
not going to throw out a Spring Finals MVP. You're not going to throw out any of that. You're just
that
gonna
would
throw
make
him
sense. That was Scout in Spring, for doesn't know, was first All-Pro, and therefore he was also the MVP. Doesn't make sense if you're second All-Pro and MVP. Just bump him up by one. But point is, I think especially once he gets towards what I'd assume is that Bloodthirster, because not a whole ton of armor going to come out from the side of LNG, so I wouldn't assume you need to go for a Lord Dom's third. Having some bit of that sustain will do him quite nice. I think it'll put JDG in such a strong position, but did just have second item finished up, a Ruler is missing.
He had to.
Great
that was going to
timing.
be a big catch out. Yeah, you had the 2-item spike there for Gala. He popped the Yumu's knowing that they were going to go all in. But I will say JDG now have 2 items on both their carries. They also have that redemption for Kanavi. We're going to see them try to utilize this strength.
I'm so curious if Zika's going to get caught off here. I really cannot be bothered with that replay as Ruler. Not going to make it down in time.
I should
I
see a
thought
lot
he'd
of presence.
over-regress.
Goodness.
Mazel, I don't like this. I don't like a world where LPL top lanes respect potential pressure coming down.
No, you don't like that? Why not? Why not? Okay, let's go.
Because I'm just saying if it was the Shy, if it was anyone
Nope,
else.
we can't talk about that. Hunk is caught. Oh, the crash down gets caught by that Nature's Grasp. But Hunk should still go down, and 450 smackaroos to Knight's pocket.
Does find one. The aggression paying off. I thought it might have been a little too over-ambitious with people like Scout who were close by. But just going to take the kill, back off. Now you do have things like a flash missing off your Tristana, though. That could be huge if, Tarzan connects with his ult. If the Chains of Corruption comes out, Knight won't have much to work with, especially if it's in, within the next 30 or so seconds. If they can somehow set up a pick, he wouldn't even have Buster Shot, but I doubt LNG will be able to find an opportunity unless Knight really overreached.
We're just going to take a look back at how exactly a Hunk made it through this moment. Nice little hook onto the wall there, but beautiful actually timing from the Nature's Grass there from Tarzan. Knight hopping over, though. Easy pickup.
And LNG not wanting to work their way around and even try to, give solace to their support. But pretty much 2 items across the board now. So we're at the point where a lot of meaningful damage is going to come out. I mean, LNG pretty much have a full damage composition, right? I mean, you look at Tarzan's items, he's going to be packing a punch. Zika very much going to do the same. So a lot of them, it's going to come down to, I think, angles, how they take fights. If you can get Zika off on that flank and how much saplings can do early on, and really having, great team target focus, because you have enough burst to just take someone like Knight out if you can isolate them in a fight. So for JDG, it's going to be a lot about how their formation comes out, right? Things like the Kanavi peeling, missing, putting himself in front of his carries. A great call to Forge God by 369, buying time for Knight and Ruler to dish out DPS. So 2 very different, I'd say, team fight styles that the teams want to look for.
We're seeing that come to bear now as well. As time goes on, JDG are stacking their way to a very strong team fight in their own right. Zika will continuously be that pressure. Should be able to get this outer tower as well. We have Dragon in about 35 seconds. LNG have done the due diligence, have gotten those first 2 Dragons. If they get a soul point, that's where a lot of that decision-making power does come to their side of things. But they did let the last one go, maybe feeling a little bit of pressure from JDG, who have seemingly woken up now, Lyric.
Yeah, they found their footing, right? Their comp is finally coming online. They did a much better job in the early game, this game, to match blow for blow with whatever LNG was throwing at them. So now it really is just going to come down to the team fighting prowess of both of these squads. LNG have a lot of control over mid lane, just with the amount of range that you have between an Azir and a Varus. But it seems like right now they're afraid. Seeing Knight clear out those wards in River of the angles that they could find.
There's so many little things that can go awry for both sides, but I'm really looking at Hung and Missing to be the leaders of this one. Hung going in with that engage, actually catches Missing out, and Tarzan gets the kill with him as well. The depth charge onto Kanavi, the shifting sands as well as the Emperor's Divine Knight locked down, and LNG, they actually picked them apart again. It's looking like game one with Zika over the top rope. You got a basketball skin, but you just got alley-ooped by the carries of LNG.
And we got to see exactly how much damage this composition brings to the table. I mean, you look at the two members, right? Kanavi and Missing, they are not that tanky. I mean, you're a support. You're also an Ivern, who's pretty much a support. 369's one who needs to soak that damage, and now it's going to lend itself to a Baron coming through for LNG. A TP
what is
from
369 doing here?
But
what is he doing here? He's going ham. He's trying to get in there, but there's no way. He might get chased down here. He's got Zika on the back side of him. Oh, goodness gracious. He finds himself on the wrong side of town, and he just gets beat down.
You know what? Your whole team just went down, around your jungle area.
Oh, no.
It's doomed. You just need to go for it.
No! Let's talk about the replay. Let's talk about the replay.
Yeah. As we see here, I mean, Missing going forward so aggressively first blew my mind, but it's here. Just again, look at the lack of stats coming out. Great ult from the Maokai to start things off. He followed through with the Chains of Corruption onto the Ivern, and then Scout with a beautiful
in the middle of the
Emperor's
rocket
Divine.
jump.
Yeah, just so much done, denying that rocket jump from going through. And this just shows, I really feel like stacking up some of those early dragons was so crucial, and now you have this Ornn that just perma-forcing a side lane.
Round two, fight! There's nature coming to get you, and Tarzan, the first tree to find blood in this 5-on-5. You're actually 4v5 in the moment. Hung getting bursted down there, needs to be a little bit more careful. You do have 369 coming out, but he doesn't have Ornn. He doesn't have that engage potential, and Dragon number 3 goes to LNG.
Let's all remember why he doesn't have those tools up as trying to stop that Baron. But again, I love plays with Mojo, so like after you lost the team fight and the Baron was going to go down, it was probably doomed, right? The gold lead is now ballooned. Baron's going down. Unless you have some kind of miracle steal with that ulti, it really will just be LNG now having a great siege of your base. Like, we've been talking about the range you've been playing with this whole game. Like, imagine Azir Varus in front of your turrets with things like Maokai and Sapling just being thrown in your face.
And you have the Serpent's Fang there for Gala, a lot of utility there. But it also was a moment where, LNG knew exactly how to attack, and some of the misexecution really coming alive for JDG. It was literally an almost tie ball game. And all of a sudden you have a monumental lead for LNG, and they can look to find these engages. Hung over the wall will be engaged on by Missing here. I'm not going to go too far for it. JDG in some trouble, and Scout over the wall. He has Emperor's Divide. They've already picked out Missing as well. That Chains of Corruption is doing so much work. Scout is going to go golden. Not a lot of health. The engage goes through, and Ruler picks him up. Ruler's still full health, does have the red and blue now. Zika coming over here with the Hull Breaker. It's Ruler picking apart, though. Kanavi actually ends up getting the 600 gold from that pickoff. And Zika now needs to be a little bit more careful. Is going to be able to get out of this one, I believe. Maybe not. Actually, he's going to have that Hull Breaker. He's tanking up, but Grand Challenge has been issued. He's just trying to get over the wall here. He doesn't have flash, doesn't have any way out, and JDG are pushing and trying to catch him. Riposte goes through yet again. Can he get over the wall? The great escape has come alive. Kanavi doesn't want to let this happen, though. My goodness, Zika taking all the pressure. Meanwhile, at the base, LNG did half your health to your tier 2 in mid.
It is insane, the sidestepping that we've seen from Zika in this game. Remember the 1v2 earlier in laning phase against Ruler Missing, and now this, bringing them across all of Runeterra. We're going to see here Missing. I mean, at this point, right, I think we can feel JDG's desperation. We saw that from 369's play earlier. It's going to be here. I want to see how Scout ends up taking so much damage. Knight just getting the full explosive shot off. He's lucky to have survived, and this time they have the Ornn. The Fiora's not here, so it allows them to run forward, allows them to just keep bringing LNG down. And much better play
Ruler does
from
a lot of
JDG
damage.
around.
Yeah. I mean, I think you're obviously seeing some of the fruits of the labor of a double marksman comp. Knight is really starting to be a threat, and it also means that you're watching that golden left hand while the right hand of JDG and Ruler smacks you on the other side, and that's where the strength belies for JDG. They got to keep pressing this, though. They have a little bit of timing window for themselves as the Nature's Grasp does come across. That tier 2 in the mid lane taken and the bounty secured.
And now we're at a point where 3 items on both of our marksmen for JDG. So gonna have more sustain coming through, gonna have the damage from that passive that's there if you can, you know, maintain staying healthy, which will be a bit hard if Gala can start connecting with some of these arrows, right? But point is, I feel like we're really at some of these critical thresholds, and I like that Knight also just picked up a stopwatch, because one thing we know LNG been great at is scout going in for the famous stag the swoop and boops. Scout's been swooping and booping left and right, and you need to be ready, go into stasis, survive that, and get off more DPS, allow your team to reposition around you, and hopefully Knight then be able to get out scot-free if Scout finds the play.
The problem I'm seeing, though, is Zika is just becoming that monster we had set him up to be from the draft. And I don't see, again, like I said earlier, a real answer for Zika in the side lane. Yes, that comes where JDG can force 5-on-5s, and that hold breaker becomes a little bit more useless. But as long as LNG have some presence on the map and this third dragon for them, it gives them that decision-making.
Definitely gives them a lot of room to work with, right? And making JDG feel forced to look for some of the engages that we've seen them try. Like the last one looked like ideally it wouldn't have been in JDG's favor, but they managed to make it work based off Knight's positioning and then finding Scout. But that isn't going to happen every time. Now we're going to see. I guess it's just committing Knight to answer sides because of, you know, his E. He's going to be able to clear out waves much faster than 369 would. And the buster shot as well. So
yeah.
It's going to be much harder for him to dive you.
But I got to give some love to the new gun, the new carry, it feels like, for LNG and Gala. The man is 5-0-4 on the Varus, has the Serpent's Fang, is providing a lot of utility, but they are also fully focusing on him as a big carry in this game for LNG. They are forcing the Baron here for JDG, and I don't think LNG can respond. There's the Nature's Grasp, but the Baron's already gone. Zika's on the flank. They're going to find the engage. Oh, no, you can't get caught on the side missing. He's taken up, though, and the front line from LNG has completely left their carry. Scout gets taken out. Gala gets taken out, and Ruler picks up 1,000 gold. What a big swing. And JDG, they made them reel themselves as Hong is a little bit caught out. I feel like there was an exit strategy there, but Ruler should be able to come over here and help take him out. Zika's pushing top lane still.
Mazel,
breaker not going to be there.
I gotta stop you because, okay, Ruler, maybe I don't gotta stop. Why is this still going?
Oh my god,
what are we
this
doing?
is still going. Zika, he's down. Ruler's picking up gold left and right here, Lyric.
Why? Why did any of this happen? I gotta be honest, JDG didn't make LNG do anything. LNG chasing the Rell, I get it, wanting to find that kill, but leaving your carries exposed to the pinch, that is not the way to do it.
So rough. Oh my goodness. I've never seen a peanut butter and jelly sandwich come across so fast, or come apart so fast.
They gave it to them. They gave it to them.
Oh, JDG with one fell swoop will take a mid inhib, will reverse their fate, and potentially even up the gold. We'll take a look.
Like, who do they think they're facing? They're going up against an Ornn, a Rell, such easy ways of closing space. I am surprised that the Rell survives this long, but look where they're left. There really isn't even anything to break down here, Mazel. It's just saving Private Ryan, but he doesn't get saved. He's by himself, and he's gone. And, it's, you know, I just don't like plays like that. I want a 5-game banger. I'm happy if JDG comes back and they bring us a distance, but you can't lose a fight like that.
It's just about knowing your cons and executing towards them. Zika wasn't really going to provide any help, right? He's looking for a big flank. He's trying to buy time with his hold breaker as best he can. But we have full Ornn completed on the side of JDG. They have reached their scaling milestone, and their team comp is just going to force the hand of LNG every single time.
Yeah, now they're huge. Now you had tools, like we pointed out before that fight, like stopwatch on Knight, that didn't even need to be used for how the fight ended up going down. So now, going to be able to use this Baron, going to be able to use the amount of pushing power they have. Not for much longer, only 30 more seconds. But 30 seconds with the Xayah Tristana can get a lot of work done.
You already see that. I mean, it only took about a couple seconds to take that one out completely.
Even the Ardent
they still have so much.
Like you're getting so much value from this comp at this point in time, and we just see the Warmogs finished up by 369. So Gala not going to be denting him anytime soon.
Oh wow, they got a side lane turret as well from Winions. as a tier 2 had fallen. You don't get that, at least the pressure. Pressure is important. Zika, though, will still be that menace. I think LNG, they are reeling. They've got the birdies swirling around their heads, but they have to find a way to kind of wake themselves back up. They're going to TP to defend this bottom side engage and siege from JDG.
Like we said, 2021 was the last time that LNG has beaten JDG in a series. After game 1 and after right up until this Baron, it was looking like they were finally gonna break that curse. They were finally gonna get things going. And we need to remember that was the year of like the LNG Miracle Run 2 Worlds, which I feel like would be a really good omen of like, hey, the last time you beat JDG, you made it to Worlds, you beat JDG, you're making your way to the upper semis. Now, a bit of that progress being halted. I still think the silver lining being that LNG are showing us that they're here to play today, right? And that so far, this has been neck and neck.
And I just love the sweeping momentum for them from their last series, the absolute 5-game banger, and then now coming into this one, having that strong performance in game number 1, taking a very aggressive composition, but we might need to see them try to adapt to some later game insurance policies. And while they do still have some of that in this game, it's all about now the execution for themselves, try to get back into this one, because the lead is now holistically in JDG's favor, and feels like for the first time in the series, and they'll have a lot of the power on the map, right? And I think that's where this extra member in Daisy, a lot of the double marksman comp come into this play.
Yeah, I agree. The Daisy gonna be able to provide so much. You've already hit, like, I mean, hell, we lose Ruler. Ruler is full build now. Ma picked up rapid fire cannon there. So we're on the opposite side. I think the most key member is Scout. Scout is the one who's going to put out DPS because of the fact that we have lethality on the Varus. I guess Maokai as well actually puts out like a decent amount of like sustained damage for a team fight as long as you're consistently throwing out those saplings. But it's all going to be up to Scout, who needs to finish that Rabadons, because we just got a Guardian Angel picked up for Knight as well. So both carries from JDG are absolutely full power.
Double upgraded Navoris too, as it's going to be really hard to pick them apart. Got a lot of the engage.
I'm curious if
JDG as well.
They might even have elixirs, Mazel, right? Like, we haven't hovered over them in quite some time. If they do, that really is just like as strong as they could be.
Okay, so decent amount of poke from Gala. This is why you grab the Varus, because you just want to find a little bit of that preemptive damage. But JDG, if you overstep, they will take you out. Missing has been crucial in a lot of their engages, but now they have 369 in tow. Knight going in with that rocket jump. He won't have the cooldown there and won't get the reset on that explosive charge.
It seems like LNG realized they need to play around their range advantage that they have. But
Here it goes.
comes out.
They realize they're split. They know that they're completely split here. Knight goes in with another rocket jump, but maybe he overextended. He's into the wombo combo. He brought the depth charge to the rest of the team. Look at Scout on Ruler. They know what's so important. Ruler flashes, and again you come for the king. You better not miss.
JDG now gonna try and find 2 more off the back of it. Elected to not chasing it down and realizing getting an objective is more important. Baron's up, but look at LNG. They are hightailing it to what would be soul for them.
They're TP. They're going to go straight in. 369 does not have any extra engage here, but he does have his body, and LNG are nowhere to be seen.
No, so now JDG not only find the kill, which means they win the fight, they get the Baron, but look at Zika on the minimap. He wants to find something for themselves. 369 recalls in time, and with these Baron recalls, nothing's going to be able to come from this, but I like the onus. I like the pizzazz in going for the try.
We'll actually take a look back at the chaos that was this, but as soon as 369 sees Scout completely under tower, he's like, let's just go.
Yeah, pulls the trigger, and then Knight, not afraid to fall, because Knight knows he has that Guardian Angel. Has to go with the flash, does get hit by Hung's ultimate, which knocks a few of them up, but that fight's going fine, he has to go back. But right there, Ruler dodging out with that ult and that flash and winning that 1v1 against Scout felt like the most pivotal thing.
This man does not stop impressing since he splashed, or actually, rocketed into the LPL. He has been incredible. He has been a mainstay of each one of JDG's victories. That there is a reason he's so lauded. There is a reason why teams try to completely focus him, and Scout knew how much pressure he was going to provide if he didn't mark him.
And I mean, there's a reason why a lot of people consider him the greatest AD carry. His longevity, the amount of accolades.
Ooh, I don't know if those accolades matter right now because he's just looking for kills. They get the knock-up on Zika. That'll be his GA popped as well. The Nature's Grass comes across, but again, there's no real combo here. The Sun Disk is there to provide a little bit of safety, but it's gone in an instant as snuffing out the light or JDG, and they're just trying to crash straight into the Nexus turrets here.
Yeah, they're just going to keep looking for the push. Last stand from
Oh,
LNG.
no, that's the Feather Storm, though. And again, you cannot kill this man on Xayah. You can try every single time, but you just can't get him. He's looking like Thanos on this pick, and JDG, the beast has woken.
LNG have to be molding. LNG have to be so upset at how this game went, leaving their carries in front of that Baron exposed. I'm not letting it go. I'm not getting it out of my mind. It's just, yeah, what an unfortunate situation, right? Going for the pick.